Well, it was 2001. I was retired, and it was post 9/11, and a lot of my neighbors and friends were suffering from unemployment challenges, and the country was in trauma, and I wanted to do something to help. And I had a compassion for unemployed people and people in transition because I moved here in 1998 and was not successful in getting a career position that I really wanted. So I ended up retiring early. I did a lot of volunteer work until I decided to start an employment support program with the help of others. That's how we got started.
I first got involved with Scottsdale Job Network, or what is now known as Scottsdale Job Network, after coming out of church at St. Patrick's on one of the masses, and in the back there was a table for St. Patrick's Employment Ministry. And I met this wonderful lady by the name of Chris Vicari, and I walked up, and since I owned a staffing agency, I said, I think I can help, or at least provide some sort of information that might be helpful to your constituents. In which Chris said, oh great, how about next Tuesday?
I met up with Chris Vicari of Southwest Job Network about, gosh, almost 6 years ago when she was still over at St. Pat's. And it was an amazing interaction. It was wonderful that she had such a huge heart for those that are in transition. And Chris was just the spirit, the heart, and the passion behind it. She was the founder, the director, and we came alongside of her and provided our resources, all on a volunteer basis.
Well, I remember one of the first meetings Chris at the new Scottsdale Job Network asked me to come speak at, and I'll never forget walking in, and it was Chris, Steve Wild, and one participant.
We started out with only literally more volunteers than we had people looking for work, and we just started in a small room at a church, and we just started to really just to put back into the community to really help people that were in job transition.
Our original idea was that we were just going to have networking meetings, and the people who came told us what they wanted, and what they needed was coaching on resumes, tips on networking, how to get into the hidden job market. And so we learned, as the leaders of the group, from the people who were taking advantage of the services, and that's how we evolved our program.
The original vision for SJN was to take the curriculum, and we had one location, and it was to build up the curriculum and other things that we offered for job seekers, whether it was understanding, compassion, the ability to help in any way that we could.
Well, in the early days, we were growing very fast, and after about 2 years we were 500 members. We had a Yahoo group. When we decided to become an independent charity, we needed space. Of course, we never charged people, so we never had money to buy much of anything or rent space. So we were blessed with the support of Mountain Valley Church in Scottsdale. They gave us meeting space for a year, and then when they needed the space, we had to go looking again. And one of our members mentioned Temple High in Phoenix because they used to have an employment support program, and they thought, well, have a conversation with them and see if they'd be interested. And they were, and they were very, very supportive and open to us. And so that's where we've been for the last 3 years in the North.
It was amazing when we first started SJN, and our vision was going to be, let's just help those that are willing to be in and around Scottsdale. We had limited resources. We had no money. There was no funding. And so we just, let's just try to focus on just those in job transition and just those in Scottsdale. If other people are willing to travel, God bless them, but we weren't going to try to do anything more than that. And we recognized that we had done so much hard work and quality work to develop this curriculum that we could no longer have it just in North Phoenix. We went from having 20 people to literally having 250 people at a meeting. And that's when it came time for a change in charter. We didn't change the job transition focus, but we changed the locations.
We were getting such numbers, like 250 people per meeting, or almost at capacity in the space that we had at the temple. So we kind of took an informal survey of people at a meeting, and we said, where do you come from? And we figured out people are driving up to an hour to come to a meeting. So we kind of took another leap of faith and said, let's see if we can sustain two other locations. And so in the summer of last year, we started a group in the Southeast Valley, and they meet at one of the Maricopa County Community Colleges, either Chandler Gilbert or Mesa. And then in September, we started regular meetings in the West at Glendale Community College.
So obviously there's a need, and people have found value in what SJN has done and it continues to do.
Well, we've had hundreds of landings. The success element to me has always been a one-by-one. So that when Mary, who's been out of work for 18 months, comes in and says, I've got a job, it is an unbelievable celebration. And then when Jim comes in, and I've been out of work only 2 months, the celebration is just as intense. Even though one was 2 and one was 18, the reality is that when you go through this mountain to valley to mountain transition, it's an unbelievable life-changing experience. So of the hundreds of landings, each one was uniquely special.
And we have now a board of directors of 8 people. We have relationships throughout the valley that I'm very proud of with municipalities, the governor's office, the community colleges, Temple High where we have meetings, jobbing. There are a lot of people that love us, appreciate what we do. We've established a wonderful reputation. I was actually the recipient of the Francis Young Community Heroes Award. Now, that was really neat and a nice honor for me personally, but to recognize the work that we do here.
You know, the growth of SJN has been just exciting. You know, from that one person showing up for a meeting in a community church to now having spread throughout the valley. And as a matter of fact, it's no longer Scottsdale Job Network, but Southwest Job Network. So the growth is phenomenal. We've got meetings now that take place in all corners of the valley, and it just continues to grow.
So it's been a lot to maintain considering we're all volunteers and no one's paid, but you can see the tremendous amount of resources and support we get from the community because, you know, people really believe in what we're doing and the heart that we bring to it, the passion, and, you know, the caring for our people.